Who needs Sterling and Harry Kane when you've got Big DG and Dacky Boy? That's right, Rovers return and we're up against Villa and we'll talk about it next. That's right, folks, back once again with another match preview, this time looking forward to Blackburn Rovers' next match up in the Championship against Villa, and we'll talk about it in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button, keep your bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, whoa, football related, we've got it all here under one roof. Now let's jump into the thick of things, let's take a look at it. So the match does take place this Saturday, which is the 30th of March 2019 at Villa Park, up against one of the old classics, Aston Villa, that's right, who are now managed by Dean Smith. Earlier in the season, I think when we took them on, they were under the mentorship or managerialship of Steve Bruce, but those things have come and gone now. New manager at the helm, and hopefully, well, on their point of view, they're going to try and steer themselves towards playoffs, at least. But last season they did actually make it the playoffs, finishing 4th in the old table, getting to the final, but only to be ousted by Fulham. The key man for me this weekend will be Jack Grealish, obviously in the media for some of the good reasons and also the wrong reasons. Obviously that little fan controversy against Birmingham has brought him into the spotlight a little bit, brought actually UK football as a whole into the spotlight. But his goal scoring attributes and his abilities have also caught the attention of some of the Premiership big boys over the season. The last time that these two sides met at Villa Park ended as a 2-1 win in favour of Villa, and that was on November the 5th, 2016. And over the years, we've played each other 173 times, winning 62 of them, drawing 36, and losing 75. Anyway, let's take a look at the expected lineups. First and foremost, Aston Villa. Before we jump into that, quick look at any suspensions and possibly injuries. Now, these are a snapshot of the current injuries and suspensions for Villa. They may change a little bit because it does say at the top there, Darby and Lansbury are both back in training, so they could feature. Tammy Abraham has a bit of a niggle, calf injury. He also could return as well. James Chester's also pinpointed for the back end of the month, which is basically the last or the penultimate day of the month, the 30th of March. So he could feature. Yes, a quick rundown of the injuries. No real suspensions on the books for Aston Villa, but here is my expected lineup. Steer between the sticks: Taylor, Mings, Howes, El Hawadi at right back, Whelan in a sort of a controlling midfield role, defensive midfielder, Ghazi, Grealish, McGinn, Green, and Tammy Abraham up top. I've given him the go-ahead. I've given him the nod. Let's take a look at the stats now for Aston Villa. Tammy Abraham tops the goal scoring charts with 21 goals. Hoonahane is in there with 7. Codger's in there with 6. Chester's in there with 5. So both Hoonahane and Codger both don't make that list. For one reason or another. As for the yellows or discipline, McGinn has 11, Hutton has 8, Hoonahane has 7, Codger has 6, and the red cards. Only one player with a red card to his name, and that is Chester, who got himself a red card. Okay, let's take a look at the last 5 results for Aston Villa. Last time out, they took on Middlesbrough and they beat them 3-0. Before that, on the 13th of March, they took on Nottingham Forest at the City Ground, and they also won 3-1. Before that, on the 10th of March, it was that game up against Birmingham, the old Midlands derby, also ended as a 1-0 away win for Aston Villa at St Andrews. Before that, they took on Derby, 2nd of March, 4-0 winners, and all the way back on the 23rd of Feb, they took on Stoke at the Bet365 Stadium and they drew 1-1. So pretty tasty form. The next 5 fixtures for Villa look like this. Obviously, take on Rovers this Saturday. Then it is switching gears to Sheffield Wednesday. That's got a mind of its own, that game. Obviously, Steve Bruce at the helm of Sheffield Wednesday against Villa. So that's one for your diary, boys and girls. After that, they take on Rotherham at the old New York Stadium. That's on the 10th of April, before switching gears back to Villa Park against Bristol City, and then ending the 5-game stretch up against Bolton Wanderers at the Macron on the 19th of April. As for Rovers, injury table looks like this. Corey Evans should be back. Ben Gladwin is ruled out. Charlie Mulgrew and Darrell Lenihan could feature. They've been out for a while, couple of weeks. Well, Lenihan has been out since Feb. Dominic Samuel's out for the season, and Jack Rodwell could also feature. So 3, maybe 4 of those guys should be back in contention, and that is why I've structured my lineup around that, with the hope, boys and girls, fingers crossed and all that kind of stuff, that it'll be Raya, Bell, Mulgrew, Lenihan, Nyambe, Evans, Travis, Dack, Armstrong, Rothwell for me, and Big DG up top. Yeah, I think Lenihan gives us. I think he is the figurehead we should build our defence around right now. He's solid, young. He's got that bit between your teeth. He can be in hard nut in midfield, and he is a no-nonsense former central midfielder, now centre back. And let's try and find him a decent partner in the summer, hey? Yeah. Anyway, let's take a look at the stats for Rovers. Yeah, goals again spread out a little bit. Nice to see. Ducky Boy has 15. Graham has 14 right on his heels. Charlie Mulgrew has 10. Armstrong has 8. As for discipline, Small has 8 yellows. So does Lenihan. Evans has 7. And Bennett has 6. Also, red cards. 2 guys on the red cards. Williams has 2 of them. Collector's edition. And Smallwood has the 1 red. Last 5 results for Rovers is not pretty reading. Last time out they took on Sheffield Wednesday and they lost 4-2. Before that, on the 12th of March, they did beat Wigan 3-0 quite convincingly at Ewood Park. Before that, on the 9th of March, we did lose to Preston at Ewood Park. It's just not pretty reading, is it? Before that, on the 2nd of March, we took on Rodwell at the New York Stadium and we lost 3-2. And all the way back on the 23rd of Feb, we drew with Birmingham at St Andrews 2-2. The next 5 fixtures for Rovers, obviously Villa next, and then it is Stoke City, Derby County, back-to-back home games for Rovers in the early week of April. Then it is Nottingham Forest at their place, 13th of April, and then QPR down at Loftus Road on the 19th of April. Now, let's take a look at the last 5 or 6 home games for Villa and the last 5 or 6 home games, away games for Blackburn Rovers. So first and foremost, Villa. Obviously, we mentioned the Middlesbrough win, the Derby win. Before that, though, 16th of Feb, they did take on West Brom and they lost. Then all the way back a little bit, Sheffield United picked up a 3-3 draw at Villa Park. They squeezed past Ipswich on the 26th of Jan, and all the way back the 19th of January, it was a 2-2 draw against Hull. As for Rovers' last few away games, we mentioned the Sheffield Wednesday, we mentioned the Rotherham, we mentioned the Birmingham. We did also lose to Reading, we also lost to Brentford, but we did pick up a win all the way back. That's our last away win on the 12th of Jan against Millwall, 2-0 away win. So hopefully the clocks have been reset a little bit, and then Rovers can go again and maybe start something. I'm not saying this is a winnable game or a not winnable game. It's a game that we could compete with. It just depends on which Rovers show up and which Villa show up. Anyway, take a look at the last few meetings between the two sides in all competitions and all grounds between the two sides. Now, the last time that the time that these two sides met earlier in the season ended as a 1-1 draw. Hoonahane with a lastminute.com free kick to give Villa a share of the points. Before that, though, 29th of March or 29th of April 2017, Rovers picked up a 1-0 win against Villa. That was in the season. I think Mulgrew was in charge, trying to save us from the drop. And as mentioned earlier, 2-1 loss was the last time that these two sides played each other at Villa Park. So the recent record for Rovers at Villa Park is pretty woeful. The past 3 appearances have all ended in defeat. So I'm pretty much expecting another one, but I'm hoping that we can surprise a few. In fact, let's take a look at it. These are the last. Oh my goodness gracious! We've not won in Villa Park in over 9 years, I'd say. Yeah, it's pretty woeful. But at least we've scored a goal in most of them. We've scored a goal in 5 of the past 6 times we've gone to Villa Park. So let's hope at least that continues. Anyway, take a look at the current. This is actually the form book. Before we jump into the actual table, this is the last 6 matches overall. Villa are sitting pretty in 5th spot on the old form table. This is both home and away, winning the last 4. As for Rovers, though, we're in 22nd spot, just winning 1 out of the past 6. A quick look at the home table. This is Villa's home form, and they're actually only 9th in the old home form table, winning 3 out of the past 6. As for Rovers on the away table, we are in 17th spot. Not losing 2 out of the past 6. That's probably a better way of putting it. Quick look at and a quick overview of WhoScored.com, kind of an analysis of the game ahead to see how Rovers get on and what we can expect. Villa's strengths, attacking down the wings. On the flip side, we probably suck down the wings. That's probably one of our weaknesses, and that's where a lot of our goals come. So possibly that's an angle that we need to look at. Attacking set pieces as well, shooting from direct free kicks, and creating chances through individual skill. As for Blackburn Rovers' strengths, shooting from direct free kicks, creating chances through balls, and stealing the ball from opposition. As for our weaknesses, protecting the lead, defending against skillful players are just some of them. As for Villa's weaknesses, avoiding individual errors, protecting the lead, stopping opponents from creating chances. Anyway, you can have a quick look at that, pause the screen, and soak up that information for you. Quick look at what else is going on this weekend in the old Championship. West Brom take on Birmingham. It's Friday night kickoff. over at the Hawthorns. Leeds take on Millwall. Wigan against Brentford. Reading against Preston. Notts Forest against Swansea. That's a bit fruity. Ipswich against Hull. Is it all doom? I think it's all doom and gloom for Ipswich, really. They've been put up a fight, drawing quite a few games. Obviously, the main attraction is Villa against Blackburn. Derby take on Rotherham as well. QPR against Bolton. That's a sort of bottom table crunch class. Stoke against Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield United against Sheffield Bristol City. And Middlesbrough take on Norwich. So let's take a look at the table, actually. This is the table with Birmingham's 9-point deduction. That's a bit of news that's happened over the international break. Norwich still top of the pops by 4 points now. They're looking good. Sheffield United in second spot, obviously, with that crucial win over Leeds last time out. Leeds are in third. West Brom fourth. Middlesbrough fifth. And Villa are sixth. To be honest with you, I'm thinking that is going to be the playoff picture at the end of the season. I think the only team I'm worried about, or should be worried, I think is Middlesbrough. I think they could slip out of it, and you might see someone else sneak in there. I think probably between 11th upwards have a shot. I think Hull, unfortunately, they're out of the picture. As for the bottom, Ipswich are bottom of the pops. Bolton and Rotherham are in the drop. Now, the thing with the Birmingham 9-point deduction is they're also on a bad run, 4 games losing streak, so they need to get their mental heads around that 9-point deduction and try and just try to switch that off, and hopefully don't get sucked into that mess down the bottom. Anyway, take a quick look at the old top goal scorers in the division. Timo Pukki is the main man, 24 goals. Billy Sharp's hot on his heels though, 22 goals. Tammy Abraham is their Villa man for you, 21 goals for the season. He's joint alongside Che Adams and Jared Bowen, and there's a whole list of other players in there: Neil Maupay, Rodriguez, Gale, McBurney and Graben, all in that list. Just a couple more, Ducky boy, and you're going to be in that top 10. So let's fingers crossed for that. As for the assists, Conor Hoonrahan's down the bottom there, basically joint second alongside Jakowicz, Hernandez, Benrahma and Grosicki are the top assist makers for the season. Now you've heard a little bit what I've got to say about the match. Now what you really want to hear is what the opposition fans have to say. And I'm joined by Dan Collins live via Skype, who is a massive Aston Villa supporter. Now for the small corner of the YouTube audience, could you tell them a little bit about yourself and why on earth you support Aston Villa?
Well, my dad was a Villa fan, so naturally it follows that I'm a Villa fan as well. Look at the draw.
Look at the draw. Did I see? Are you actually wearing some Villa merchandise right now?
Yeah. Villa shirt.
There you go. It's just out of shot. Okay, folks. So now this is actually Blackburn Rovers and Aston Villa's second time around. We did play each other earlier in the season at Ewood Park that ended up all square. And in that time, we did ask another Aston Villa fan some questions and stuff like that. But now we're going to kind of do something a little bit different, which is kind of like a mid-season overview, kind of Dan's opinions on what he considers to be best players, all that kind of good stuff. So speaking of best player, kicking us off with that one. Obviously, you've had a couple of managers this season, Stevie Bruce and Dean Smith, and your season's kind of been all over the place. But ultimately, in your opinion, who has been Aston Villa's best player this season?
Even though he missed 3 months of the season, it's got to be Jack Grealish. As soon as he was back in the team, everything changed and we started winning again. 5 games ago, if you'd have said to me end the season now, I'd have taken it because we were on such a torrid run of form. And now everything is starting to look rosy again. And smiles are back, which is great.
Alrighty then, so we have covered the top end of the scale. Now what about the bottom end? Who's been an absolute dud for Aston Villa this season? Who's been your worst player in your eyes?
I'm not sure. I mean, the worst player at the club is Micah Richards by far.
He's still there?
He's still on the paycheck.
Oh my goodness.
Runs out at the end of this season.
Wow. Now, obviously, everyone talks about Jack Grealish being tip of the top and all that kind of good stuff and potential future England international. But besides him, who else is coming through the old academy? Anyone we should be keeping an eye out for in the future?
So Callum O'Hare, who is currently on loan at Carlisle United, is in the mould of Jack Grealish. And he's a tidy little player, can see the pass and just gets it straight on. So watch out for him next season. Now,
like I said earlier, Dean Smith is now in charge of Aston Villa, but Stevie Bruce was there earlier, and they both had their own transfer windows, one in the summer and one in January. Who has been Aston Villa's best signing this season? You've had a couple of decent ones, but for you, who stood out?
So I would say Tyrone Mings on loan has been an amazing signing from Bournemouth. Hopefully, Bournemouth don't want to keep him, and we can sign him at the end of the season. But also John McGinn has been awesome. Didn't play so well the other night for Scotland, but he's amazing for us. So I don't care.
We were actually linked with McGinn as well at the time, and obviously, yeah, did work out, and he went to.
You said you didn't sign him?
Well, yeah, he scored a couple of. I think he scored. Did he score a screamer early in the season? Did he?
Yeah, volley straight into the top corner.
Now, on the flip side, anyone been an absolute dud? Any signings that have completely failed to materialise or failed to deliver on the grand stage that is the Championship?
So we've got Tom Carroll on loan. He hasn't kicked a ball yet, so I'm going to have to say him just out of default, to be honest. Which seems a shame because he's not kicked a ball, but...
Now, we talked about best players and worst players, but what about tough nut? Who's the man we don't want to meet in the middle of in the field? Who's likely to break our legs if we look at him in a funny-looking way?
The Scottish Cafu, Alan Hutton. It's got to be. You don't want him running at you at full pelt because that is going to be one scary sight.
I recall, I don't know if it was at Villa that he kind of lost his way a little bit, but I don't know if he's found form again or if he's looking at a revitalised player.
He was in the proverbial bomb squad when we went down with a few players that weren't playing regularly and were just not very good. But he's got his way back into the team and he's back in the fans' hearts. So he's done a tremendous job. Now, obviously, everybody, like I said earlier, talks about Jack Grealish, Tammy Abraham. They're stealing the headlines for all the right reasons, creating chances, scoring goals. But is there anyone else out there who seems to get a lot of plaudits and, in your eyes, probably doesn't deserve to get that many plaudits? So I would say Jonathan Codger. He seems to throw his toys out the pram when things aren't going well for him. So that's my pick, Jonathan Codger, yeah. Jonathan Codger. You guys have a lot of decent strikers on your books for a Championship club. You got Scott Hogan out somewhere. I don't know where's he at Sheffield United or something? Sheffield, yeah. So you got him, Codger. You've got Tammy Abraham on loan, but I probably have more than that. You got McCormack somewhere. I don't know where he is. You guys. Yeah, he's in Australia, McCormack, or he was anyway. Yeah, you guys have got and everyone. I've spoken to a lot of obviously supporters from different clubs, and everyone's on the hit list. Yeah, we need a striker that can put the ball back in there. They're all at Aston Villa. Hey, you never know. You might get one on the cheap at the end of the season. Now, on the flip side, what about somebody that's kind of gone under the radar a little bit? Somebody who's doing a lot of the work behind the scenes, making that key pass before the assist or doing some important tackles that kind of don't really get as much plaudits as someone else. Someone, in your eyes, who's probably Aston Villa's most underrated player. So, Conor Hourihane has got a sharp eye, can put an amazing cross into the box. But as soon as something goes wrong, he seems to be the scapegoat for the fans. So, yeah, Conor Hourihane, for me, deserves more credit than he actually gets. Now, over the years, a number of top players have pulled on Aston Villa's jersey. But in your eyes, who's been the best ever one in the whole grand history of Aston Villa? So, for me, probably Juan Pablo Angel. Ooh, yeah, nice. Because some of the screamers that he scored, some amazing goals in a good team. But I've also got a soft spot for Stilian Petrov. Just because of everything he went to the club. Yep. He had leukemia and he bounced back and come back and I think he actually came back to the team and maybe on a free basis. I don't know. Yeah, it's credit to the lad. He's been quite influential around Birmingham as well with the stuff that he does for charities. So fair play to him. Yeah. Awesome. Good choices. I remember Juan Pablo Angel as well, but he was at Villa for a long time as well. So it's not one of those guys that just come for 2 seasons and did one. He was there for a good few years. Now, if you could go and swipe one other player from around the league, whether it's somebody from Norwich, somebody from Ipswich, or even somebody from Birmingham, dare I say it, if you could snatch one other Championship player and put him in your side, who would it be and why? Well, Bradley Dack if he's going. Bradley Dack, all right. Nice one. He's not for sale. Not yet. If you want to take some money, we'll take him. So Aston Villa's season has been up and down, left, right and centre, all over the place. A bit of a roller coaster, to be honest with you. But they seem to have hit form just at the right time and momentum could be with them as the season comes to a close. But ultimately, in your eyes, where do you think they're going to end up in the old Championship table? Conservatively, I'll go 5th. Okay. But I think positively in these situations. Okay, so if you do finish in 5th, that means playoff bound. Then what happens? I'm not sure I can go through it again with that playoff final. It was awful. I think we've got the momentum to carry us through and go up through the playoffs.
Now, I do have written down here the team you hate and why. Do we really need to go there?
Probably not, but Birmingham City.
Okay. They're obviously...
Always has been, always will be.
And finally, the money question here. What is the final score going to be on Saturday between Aston Villa and Blackburn Rovers at Villa Park?
I'm going to go 3-1 to Villa.
Ooh, ouch.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's going to be fine.
Well, thank you once again, Dan, for joining me today and answering all these questions. And hopefully we can hear a little bit more from you after the result on Saturday with your feedback. Was that possible?
Of course.
Awesome.
Yeah, no worries.
Perfect. But anyway, until then, I'm going to let you get out of here.
See ya.
Now, over the years, a number of players have played for both Blackburn Rovers and Aston Villa. Here are 3 of them. It's kind of a classic edition. How about this guy? Dwight York, that's right. Goal scoring machine for Aston Villa. We got him in his later heyday after his Manchester United career. He was part of the old League Cup winning side for Rovers, but yeah, he made his name in at Villa Park. Trinidad Tobago international, and he actually won countless trophies with Manchester United. But he started at Villa Park. Now, how about this guy though? Brad Friedel, probably the best keeper Rovers have ever had, and I'm telling you that for sure. And I think we also got him in his sort of twilight of his career, but he stayed around for a good portion of years. I think he left us when he was 38 or something like that, but he was with us from his 31 to 38. So we had a good time with us. Definitely an amazing keeper. Again, I think he was also part of that League Cup winning side. He also played for Villa Park towards the back end of his career. That's also Spurs was in that sort of swan song. And he also played for Aston Villa. Not decent. He's amazing goalkeeper. Now managing New England. Yeah. How about this guy, Christopher Sutton? That's right, Chris Sutton to the boys. Obviously part of the old 1994-95 Championship, Premiership winning side. He also donned the old claret and blue, not of Burnley, oh no, of Aston Villa. That's right, I'm not too sure how that went on. I think it was post-Chelsea, probably even post-Celtic. The back end of his career, but yes, if you want to check out a full list of all the players that have played for both Blackburn Rovers and Aston Villa, head over to my WordPress site. Details to that sucker in your description below. Now, you've heard a little bit what I've had to say about the match. Now what you really want to hear is what Casa Cat's got up her sleeve. What she predicted between Aston Villa and Blackburn Rovers at Villa Park. Waste no more time, here she comes. That's pretty much all I've got for you today, folks. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a good old thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We're going to all here under one roof. And also, while I still have you, check out the old description. Links to my other social media platforms are in there. Twitter, Facebook, it's all in there. And while I also still have you, don't go anywhere just yet. Let me hear your thoughts and opinions down in the old comment section on what you think is going to happen this weekend between Villa and Blackburn Rovers, boys and girls. It is, it's a big one. It's a heavy hitter, this one. Obviously, Villa look good. The international break can be a blessing or a curse for many sides. I think for us, it was a blessing. We did pick up a win against a much-needed win against Wigan to throw them back into the trouble. But then we picked up a defeat just before against Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, it's the next few games for the Rovers are pretty tough looking. I'm not too sure how many points we will get. Is it time for Mulgrew to start experimenting? Are we absolutely secure of our destiny in this championship for next season? As soon as that, I think, is mathematically done and dusted, I think maybe that's when we should start playing around a little bit and giving the likes of Mulgrew and the old youngster midfielder whose name I completely forgot already, who had a debut last time out against Sheffield Wednesday. Hopefully, you know, that period will come pretty soon, so we can have a look at what we've got and then start already making plans for next season, because that's all what's all about, boys and girls. We need to plan for next season and maybe learn from our return back to the Championship. It's a tough old slog, is this division. Anyway, I'm going to get out of it. I've rambled on too much. Until I see you again, which will be in this, guys, instant match review on Saturday after the Villa Rovers game. I'm going to get my initial thoughts and then we'll do a detailed review. Until I see you again, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll be back very soon. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.